Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Tanya, I'm the Reading Mom, and today we're going to talk about the books that I'm most anticipated for release in 2026. Let's go ahead and get just started into it. So the first one is My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney. It says Edna Fox, an artist on the brink of her own big break, sets off for a run before the first exhibition. When she returns to the home she recently moved into, Spyglass, an enchanting old house in Hope Falls, nothing is as it should be. Her key doesn't fit, a woman eerily similar to her answers the door, and her husband insists that the stranger is his wife. One house, one husband, two women. Someone is lying. So that one sounded really interesting for me. I've never read anything by Alice Feeney. So if anybody has any suggestions, or maybe I shouldn't start with that one, please let me know. The next one is The First Time I Saw Him by Laura Dave. This is the second book in God, what was the first book? I don't remember the first book. But what this says, 5 years after her husband Owen disappeared, Hannah Hall and her stepdaughter Bailey have settled into a new life in South Carolina. Together they've forged a relationship with Bailey's grandfather Nicholas and are putting the past behind them. But when Owen shows up at Hannah's new exhibition, she knows that she and Bailey are in danger again. And so the last thing he told me is the first one to this series. So it sounds really interesting. Again, this is another author I've never read from. And this comes out on January 6th. The next one is Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. And that one says, Jackson Clark and Dahlia Stewart have had their fair share of run-ins over the years, often ending in disaster. While Jackson thrives on the routine and organization from the comfort of his radio booth, Delilah loves the spontaneity and adventure out in the field. When they're partnered against their will to cover a historic snowstorm, they find themselves scrambling to figure out how to work together. And I've read from B.K. Borison before. I really like her books. The first one I read was Love Light Farms. And that one was really good. This one comes out on February 24th. The next one is It's Not, if I can spell, Not Her. It's by Mary Kubica, another author I have not read from before. But it says here, a scream shatters the silence. Courtney Gray's peaceful vacation turns into a nightmare when she discovers her brother and sister-in-law dead in their lakeside cottage. Her niece, Reese, is missing. Her nephew, Wyatt, is asleep upstairs, unharmed. A town full of secrets. As police swarm the quiet resort, dark truths about Courtney's family and the town itself begin to surface. Is Reese the victim or the killer? So that one sounds interesting. And that one comes out on February 3rd. The next one is The Night We Met. Uh-oh. By Abby Jimenez. This is the second book to Say You'll Remember Me. So I really don't want to read this one because I don't want to spoil anything and Say You'll Remember Me. But this one comes out on March 24th. The next one is Just Friends. And my understanding is this is somebody on YouTube. It's her debut novel. It's Haley Pham. It's the author. It comes out on March 3rd. And it says here, Blair and Declan were inseparable growing up, best friends who knew each other better than anyone else. But when an impulsive kiss took them from friends to something more, everything changed. Just as quickly as their romance started, one moment shattered it all, leaving them with nothing but heartbreak and silence. So that sounds interesting. I love supporting indie authors and, people on YouTube that have written a book or anything like that. The next one is Mistakes Were Made. And this one is by Meryl Wilsner. Another one I've never read from before. Some of the other books she has written is Something to Talk About. And for Mistakes Were Made, it says here, when Cassie Klein goes to an off-campus bar to escape her school's family weekend, she isn't looking for a hookup. It just happens. Buying a drink for a stranger turns into what should be an uncomplicated, amazing one-night stand. But then the next morning rolls around and her friend drags her along to meet her mom, the hot, older woman Cassie slept with. Well, this is the first time I'm reading the synopsis, as you can tell. I'm sorry about the light. The sun is coming around, and it's just in a bad spot right now. And this one comes out on March 10th. The next one is Hunt the Villain by Rena Kent. And this one comes out, is not telling me, comes out March 24th. This is the second book to Villain. So I'm not going to read the synopsis for this either. It says, I'm hunting a monster. That's all I'm going to read. And this is a Mafia Rivals romance that is set in the Legacy of God series, is what this one is. The next one is Love Song. Love Song by Elle Kennedy. And this one comes out March 17th. And it says here, after a brutal breakup, college junior Blake Logan escapes to her family's lake house in Tahoe, determined to shut out the world. Her plan is simple: no men, no drama, until Wyatt Graham shows up. 4 years older and far too good at getting under her skin, Wyatt is the living embodiment of a bad idea, and the guy who shattered her pride when she confessed her crush at 16. And Elle Kennedy, believe it or not, is not another one I've read from. So, all of her books sound super interesting. And the second one And When the Moon Hatched series is coming out. It's called The Ballad of Falling Dragons. It's a fantasy romance novel. And I pre-ordered the deluxe edition. And it's supposed to come with sprayed edges and a full colored end papers. So that'll be interesting to see. And what the little blurb says is The Ballad of Falling Dragons is a much anticipated sequel to the New York Times best-selling phenomenon When the Moon Hatched, featuring an immersive, vibrant world with mysterious creatures, a unique magic system, and a love that blazes through the ages. That one is the only part that I'm going to read because it is the second book in a series that comes out on May 19th. And then we have King of Gluttony coming out. And that one is coming out on April 28th. There's a lot in April that are coming out. So you'll have to bear with me. I'll be kind of jumping around in April, but there are a lot of books coming out in April that I'm really excited about. This one, I'm not. It says, the little blurb says, she's his greatest rival and his greatest weakness. That's all I'm going to read because this is the 6th of 7 books in the King of Sin series. And again, it comes out on April 28th. The next one is Rites of Starling. And this is the second one to Shield of Sparrows. So again, I'm not going to read the synopsis. And this one comes out April 7th. For the little blurb here, it says, Rites of Starling is an epic, heart-pounding sequel to Daphne Perry's #1 New York Times best-selling Shield of Sparrows. A princess journeys across a cursed realm to find the truth about her family, only to discover her quest intertwines with the fate of a lost warrior. Love, danger, and magic collide in a captivating romantasy perfect for the fans of Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros. And that one, again, comes out on April 7th. The next one is Release Me. Not Release Mad, Release Me. By Tahira Mafi. This one is also coming out on the 7th. It is a deluxe edition. It is book 2. So again, I'm not going to read the synopsis, but that comes out again on April 7th. The next one is the Daisy Chain Flower Shop. And this is by Lori Gilmore. It comes out on May 5th. This is book 6 in the Dreamland Billionaire series. They don't all follow. It's not like Fourth Wing where it's a cliffhanger and then you go right into the second book. These are all interconnected standalones. So I'll read the first little blurb here. It says, Daisy is fed up with being unlucky in love, and after several weddings she has done the flowers for end in divorce. Her beloved flower shop has gained a reputation of being cursed, thanks to Mayor Kelly and his infamous visions. And reading the other books, you'll know who Mayor Kelly is in his so-called visions. So, that's just something to keep in mind. And again, that comes out May 5th. The next one Our Perfect Storm by Carly Fortune. And this is Every Summer After and One Golden Summer. This is it is another part in that series. It says Frankie and George have been best friends since they were 8 years old. Both passionate, impulsive, and headstrong. They've always clashed and come back together, until now. It's the eve of Frankie's wedding weekend, and she doesn't know where they stand or even if George will show up as her best man. So, and that one comes out on May 5th as well. The next one is Fever Dream. And that one is by Elsie Silver. It is the first book in an Emerald Lake series. And it says here, professional bull rider Emmett Bush is not looking for love. He is looking for a paycheck to save his family's farm from bankruptcy. So when he agrees to be the leading man on a hot new reality dating show, Romance Ranch, he's already decided it's all one big performance. And this one comes out on May 19th. The next one is Broken Dove. That is by Danny Francis. This is the second book in the Silver Elite series. Let's see here. The blurb says, in the heart-pounding sequel to the New York Times best-selling dystopian romance Silver Elite, lines will be crossed, loyalties will be tested, and the fight for the continent is only just beginning as Bren Darlington finds herself caught in the middle of two wars. One for the fate of her home, and another for the fate of her heart. Another author I have not read from. This comes out on May 12th. And then we have Fury Bound. That is the second book to Dire Bound. And it's the Wolves of Ruin trilogy. It says, revenge demands sacrifice. Don't miss this action-packed, jaw-dropping, dark, and romantic sequel to Dire Bound. I'm not going to read any more than that. It comes out May 5th. So a lot of these are sequels to other books. Then we have First and Forever. And that is by Lynn Painter. So it's a new book for her. It comes out May 12th. And it says here, a football star and his team's diehard fan finds themselves entangled in a PR stunt that only one side knows is fake, but it might just be the right play. So that one sounds really interesting. And I've read Lynn Painter before, and I like her writing. The next one is The Summer of Second Chances. And this is by K.L. Walther. And it comes out May 5th. The other book that she wrote is The Summer of Broken Rules. This one says Olivia Lupo feels stuck. All her friends have gone on to their first year of college while she's still at home with her family. There's a good reason, though. Her beloved grandmother, Annie, has dementia, and Olivia can't bear the thought of being so far from home when Annie needs her the most. So this sounds like it's going to be a sad book. But I'm all ready to read it. Then we have House of Pretend. And this one is by Joanne Redding. It is a memoir. And it says it's a powerful memoir of trauma, resilience, and female empowerment. House of Pretend tells the story of a girl who, raised in the shadow of her father's death by an emotionally abusive, narcissistic mother, learned early to perform, to please, and pretend, and spends the rest of her life struggling to unlearn those behaviors. And that one comes out May 19th. And then we have Delusional by James Patterson coming out. And that comes out August 24th. And this is book 18 in the Michael Bennett series. So I'm definitely not going to read the synopsis for this one. But it looks interesting. So apparently I have to figure out where the beginning is. I wanted to get this because I thought it was the start of a new series, which it is not. The next one is Before I Knew I Loved You. And this one is part of Before the Coffee Gets Cold series. It is book 6 by Toshi Kawaguchi. I'm not going to read the synopsis of this one either, only because it's the 6th book. I have not read any of these books. But I do want to read them. They're short, and I can cover my Herkit prompt for the Japanese translation. This is part of the... Now, the next one is Sweet Vengeance that comes out May 5th. This is by Tracy Wolff. It is the 3rd one in the Calder Academy series. Book 1 is Sweet Nightmares. Book 2 is Sweet Chaos. And now they're coming out with Sweet Vengeance. And again, because it's the 3rd book in a series, I am not going to read the synopsis. And then this one... is... Okay, Darker Shore, Six of Crows. This one here is Letters from Ketterdam, and it has to do with Kaz Brecker and someone called I. And so this is coming out on June 30th. And then we have a sequel to Tourist Season. It's called Harvest Season. And this is by Bryn Weaver. And it's the Seasons of Carnage trilogy. I'm not going to read that one either, because, again, it's the 2nd one in a series. But if you have any anticipated reads that are coming out in 2026, I only did mine through June. I will do another one, in probably April for the rest of the year. If you have any questions or if you have any comments, please leave them below. Oh, excuse me. And I will see you in my next video.